It's there to meet a need. Chronic pain is actually meeting a need for you. What that need is entirely up to the experience that you've had and as it relates to where it came from, what role it's playing. And once you get that understanding, then what you can do is to show that part that came up with this chronic pain why it is that that is in fact no longer needed. It thinks in this moment that it is actually doing something that is beneficial for you. It thinks at most times, it thinks that it's protecting you. And if it's protecting you, what I've noticed is by the time I come in and I'm trying to get that understanding, and we both are trying to get that understanding of the role that it plays, it pushes back, it fights, because it sees what we're doing as a threat. And if it sees what we're doing as a threat, it puts up that fight. But then in having a conversation with that very pain, you get an understanding of what is happening. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to no longer put you in a space where you are vulnerable. But then by having the conversation to establish that you are very much capable of doing the thing that it thought it was doing for you, then it releases that chokehold that it has on you by trusting that maybe you need to speak up more. Maybe you need to feel your emotions more. And if it can trust and believe, and you can convince it that you're very capable of doing that, and maybe it is something that you're capable of doing, that it is more than happy to release itself. There are moments, however, when it doesn't trust that you have the capabilities to ask for what you need, to take care of your needs, to know what you need. So because it doesn't trust, or you don't trust yourself to take care of these needs, it takes a longer time to actually release itself, and you sometimes just essentially have to negotiate with the part. Sometimes what I've had to do is a little trick is to ask if this was a loved one, if you would want them to have that experience, if you would want them to be in constant pain. And most of the times, in fact 10 out of 10 times, the response has been astronomical in terms of, no, they wouldn't want to have their sibling, no, they wouldn't want to have their daughter go through that pain. So then the question is, why do you think that you should go through that pain? It releases its tight hold, and in releasing its tight hold, you're given an opportunity to then reinforce a different story, saying what you're going to do differently. Instead of saying yes when you mean no, you're going to start saying no. And that means meeting your needs, meeting whatever need it was taking care of for you. And once it gets that trust, it then is more than happy to release it. And also, what I do essentially is to walk you through a similar situation, a similar situation that would have caused a flare or an episode. Walk through it with this new set of tools, right? And these new set of tools allow for you to then see that you are capable of responding, reacting, taking care of your needs, and that you're not in harm's way. And that is the importance of knowing what you need. But if we're going to be honest, most of us don't know what we need. There are these basic needs that we have been told about, but outside of those basic needs, there are emotional needs that we have. Emotional neglect was at an all-time high. Knowing your needs means that you need to know who you are, and that is a challenge for a lot of people, especially because who you have been told to be is who you have been showing up as. But if I'm to ask you right now, who are you? That has been a challenging question for most of the clients that I've worked with. They have an idea of some of the things that they like and maybe some of the things that they don't like. In fact, most of the time they know what they don't like, but what they like, they're not really sure of. What they need, they're not really sure of. So it's in this moment recognizing that yes, the chronic pain has been doing something for you. Essentially, it has been a bit of a codependent relationship is what I'll call it. It has been taking care of a particular need for you, and you've been dependent on it doing that for you. And now that I am going to release that role that it plays for you, now means that you have to take that role on. Most times, it's a hard role to take on for an individual who does not know themselves. So the important part is figuring out who you are and what you need. It's like going back to that plant. I know for the pepper plant that I've been taking care of, it needs a lot of sunlight. it needs a lot of water, especially now that it's blooming. Now that it's giving me fruits, I know that it needs more water now than ever. I know it needs more sunlight more now than ever. What do you need for you to thrive, for you to be who you are? Those are questions that it will require of you to ask yourself, because now that you're going to release the pain, and the pain no longer has that role in your life, it means that you now have to take on that role. And this is probably the most beautiful part of the experience, is that you can literally see it leaving your body, feeling it, because you'll see it just kind of floating away. What emotional need is this chronic pain meeting for you? Do you have the tools? Do you have the wherewithal to take care of these needs on your own? And do you need the pain at this point to speak up for you? Or there is no need to have this pain and it's time to release it?